how has being married improved your life? What are some pros? And what would you say is your best advice to a guy like me who's probably 2 years away from being married, I would guess?
Hey, yeah, man, do it. It's one of the best things that I've ever done.
Yeah?
I think is pretty much the best earthly thing I've done,
Hmm.
uh, by far. Man, it's one of those things. You get married and you're like, crap. A month passes after you're married and you're like, dude, I feel like 5 years passed in my like maturity level. You know,
Oh,
if you handle it correctly.
sure.
And I haven't handled it correctly a lot of the time, but my wife has been gracious to me, and it's one of those things is continually, sacrificing and in a way of just loving your wife and putting her first in every situation if you can, and you can, but sometimes I haven't done it for sure, and
Hmm.
she'll be the first to tell you that. But man, it's one of those things. It's so lovely, because too, it's as a biblical picture of Christ and the church, and the church will be joined with Christ one day.
Mm.
It might be soon, so that'll be awesome. But
Oh, yeah.
Christ, it's a picture, of Christ and the church, and He designed it to be, as one flesh, and we walk together, and we're best friends, and we just enjoy time and just hanging out and fellowship. But it's oh man, it's one of those things that really grows you, though. It's such a wonderful thing. A lot of people look at it now as like this thing. Oh, you get married, divorce. 50% of people
Mm.
divorce. And, but dude, that's not, to my wife and I, that's not going to happen. We're not.
Nah.
It's not going to end up like that. And it's because of God. But it's people, even like secular people, used to stay together, 100 years ago for their life, and it was
Hmm.
so rare. So a lot of it has to do with, a lot of, it's love yourself, it's all about me, if you're not
Mm.
happy, leave that guy. What are you doing,
Yeah,
bro?
yeah. Mm.
Stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It's,
man.
it's all those kind of things. And the same thing with guys, I think pornography probably is a big issue in marriage as well,
Mm.
with guys, but
Yeah,
also probably girls nowadays. There's a lot of girls who struggle with that too. But
it's
I
true.
mean, it's, it's messed up. It messes you up, and you know, thankfully, I'm not dealing with that,
That's
and
great.
God is wonderful, but man, it's such a fun thing, and you can look at it as a bad thing every day, but you can also look at it as a good thing,
Mm.
and uh, like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do the dishes, but man, do those dishes. It's
Yeah.
worth it. It's worth it. So, and it's not always this too. I like the first several weeks were like, man, this is a dream, but then as the time went on, it was just like, okay, this is normal, and then you just kind of get out of it. But man, every time, I'm gonna tell you a secret. Every time
Mm.
you pass your wife, kiss her on the cheek that day, she's gonna be like all over you, and she will just be, So
Uh-huh.
you, if you're patient with her and you do things, all the time, like I do the dishes like every day, and it can be a wonderful marriage, and
For sure.
you know, so I love it,
Yeah,
man.
that's great. It's amazing to hear.
A few
Yeah,
free little tips.
yeah, man. And yeah, I heard this. I had this like marriage kind of coach on, and he said something like, you know, if you if you want an average relationship, then yeah, 50-50 is fine. But if you want an extraordinary relationship, give 100 or 110%, and you're going to get 110% back. And like the more
Hmm.
you invest into the marriage, into the relationship, into that other person, the more she or he is going to want to invest back. Like if you just give it half effort, you're going to see not much effort in return. And so it's like my goal is like I want to fully commit and give 110% effort any day that I can, and if I can't,
Right.
I will own it that I'm not doing it at the moment. I'm just
Exactly.
guessing.
And from personal experience too, if you're a pain in the butt, she's gonna be too. So, but if
Mm-hmm.
you're kind to her, it's gonna happen back because you're the leader of the relationship, and anything that you do that's if you're depressed, then same thing. If you're uh, you know impatient, like chances are she will be too,
Sure.
because you're doing everything, and she copies you in a way, because
Mm,
if you have that kind of relationship where the man's more the leader, or at least the biblical kind of aspect of it.
for sure. Just a few more small questions. Like, how long did y'all date before you got married? Would you recommend a similar length of dating for other people? And then also, did you go to pre-marriage counseling and do you go to marriage counseling? I guess kind of a few
Good
questions all
question.
in line.
Yeah, yeah. We dated. So I met her on the street when I was playing music, and we
Oh,
dated.
wow.
It was cool. Yeah, it was
Man,
awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was actually like I saw her and I was like, man, this is a beautiful woman. This is not like some hot, sexy chick. This is
Mm,
like some just like beautiful. So I was like,
sure.
okay. And then I was like, let me just play a Christian song to see if what her reaction is. If she reacts to that. And then I started playing Christian songs. She turns around with her coffee. She's like, and I'm like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, so from there, I met her and her family, but we only dated for, let me see, 7 months
Really?
until we got engaged. Yeah, because I
Mm,
mean, we talked up front, like my intentions, her intentions were marriage, and I was like,
mm-hmm.
well, we kind of waited about a month, and then just became close friends. We talked about everything, pretty much
For
everything
sure.
that some married people don't even know about each other,
Yeah.
and then we dated for a short amount of time, and then were engaged for about 5 months, and then got
Okay.
married. So it was about a full year total. Um,
Wow, that's awesome.
but we went to some premarital counseling, but it wasn't
Mm,
really too much counseling. It was more just like, you guys are on the right path, and let's just make sure. And it was all right. And
fair
so,
enough.
and then the marriage counseling, we don't have marriage counseling. So,
Fair
but
enough.
and I would recommend,
Mm,
man, do it shorter if you can, if you can, if you can do it, because we waited to have sex, and it was worth it. It was so
fair
hard though.
enough.
So if you
Yeah,
wait
I bet.
long, if you
Yeah.
it was so hard, but pulled through, and it was so worth it, so worth it.
Well,
So
good, man. Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah, like, yeah, I've currently been dating 7 months as well, or I guess 9 months, so 9 months, and but she and I are both about to graduate. We might go different directions location wise. We'll see where it's going. Like, it's just
cool.
logistically, I think we can make it work, but marriage is a discussion that we have regularly, and we're trying to figure out when a good time would be.
Hmm.
It's hard to know, but I'm pretty excited. That's
Cool,
all I can
man.
say.
Well, that's great. Yeah, yeah. It's exciting. It's exciting things. It's really exciting. So just
Yeah,
always,
man.
my advice for anyone out there, not you specifically, but man, it's just like I dated way too many girls, but
Mm,
you know, man, just don't get caught up in what she looks like and the emotional feelings. Even though they're strong, they can be really strong. Just try to find a best friend, someone you can talk to in the best times and the worst times. You can tell them
yeah,
everything, and that's the best thing.
man. Well said. I like that. Yeah, because looks don't last forever, but
They don't.
conversations can last until you're 100. So you might as well find someone who you
Absolutely.
can truly resonate with.